standard iced coffee is now $6.
Yeah, I finally stopped going to Starbucks. I just can't stand it. It's just too expensive. I'm like, it's not that I can't afford it. It's that I feel dirty dropping $6 on a cup of coffee.
You feel like you're throwing your money in the garbage.
I really do. Yeah, I'm like, no, I gotta make it at home because I don't want to throw my money away.
How about getting to the point where you just don't drink coffee?
Oh God,
Wallace,
that will never happen.
Wallace, don't be ridiculous.
That's crazy talk.
I did buy a home espresso machine though, and it's really nice. I make some wicked espressos. They're better than Starbucks, so that's always an option.
I had to come up with the suggestion that coffee should be stopped. That can't be done.
No, that cannot be done.
Absolutely, that's silly. That's
It's not realistic.
You can get rid of alcohol before coffee, in my case.
Same.
Well, fun fact, alcohol used in the country is actually at like 80-year lows. Like,
I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that.
Really? I think it's great.
People should be.
Kids don't drink anymore.
I do not think this is a good thing.
I have two 18-year-olds and twins, and they don't fucking want to drink. They have no interest in drinking or smoking weed. It's bizarre.
I think it's weird. I think it's weird, and I think it's not a good sign.
Who has the home espresso?
Why, Holly?
I do. Mike has one.
Oh, what one do you have?
I have the barista, the middle version. So it steams its own milk and everything by itself, temperature wise and all that. But it doesn't tamp itself. So I have to basically, grind. It has a grinder, and it has everything else. So it's basically their top of the line one tamps the whole thing. It's like soup to nuts. The next one, it doesn't tamp it, but it does, steam the milk on its own and all that. And then the bottom one, you got to steam the milk manually and do everything manually. So I have the middle version.
Okay, what's the price difference, Mike, between the top and middle?
Well, they have 4 now. The top one is even more advanced, but the top one is like $2,000. The next one that does everything, but it's not their top one. That one is about $1,200, I think. The middle one goes for $800, but I got it used, but basically brand new because there's a ton of them that are used as displays. If you buy a used one that looks new in the picture, it probably is going to come in a box that hasn't even been used. That's what mine was, and I got it for around $400.
So you're saving money tamping yourself. That's not bad. I probably would do that because I'm not lazy.
Exactly. The tamper's not a big deal. It already has the built-in grinder and all that, right? And I actually measure I don't leave all the beans in the grinder to do itself. I actually measure out 18 grams on a little scale, and then I throw the beans in there, 18 grams worth, and then I grind it up, and then the grinder's empty when I'm done, so I know that I'm getting exactly that much. And then I make the shot, and then, but it steams its own milk. It is helpful to have the one that steams its own milk instead of having to do that manually. That's kind of a pain in the ass.
Now, this is a fully automatic or semi-automatic?
It's semi-automatic. You still have to do the whole thing. You still have to put it in the basket and, hook it in and then pull a shot and then pour the shot in a cup. It doesn't do all that stuff. Like a fully automatic when you just put a cup under there and it would do it all.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have a super automatic, a DeLonghi Dama Avant.
Yeah, that's those are rich. Those are $3,000, right? Something like that. Like the built-ins, they make them for built-ins for rich people and shit.
This one doesn't build in, but they originally were that. You can get them used for anywhere from $500 to $1,200.
Yeah, the one I have is you have to legit make it yourself. Like Starbucks level make it, basically. But it's
I'm a Circle K guy, so.
Circle K. I don't think we have Circle Ks.
Anybody fan of McDonald's coffee?
I like McDonald's coffee.
They put too much cream and sugar, though.
I think that's the best thing in that entire store is the coffee. That is pretty decent quality coffee.
Yeah, well, they're Coca-Cola too. I don't even drink Coke, but their Coke is like having a cake. If you want dessert, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, they have their own special formula. I used to be a huge McDonald's coffee girl. Every day, that's what I wanted. But I got one of those Italian mocha
pot
espresso pots. Mocha. Yeah, and it completely changed my taste in coffee now. Now I only make it myself.
Now you're addicted.
It's next level. Yeah, it's next level.
So I will say, this is actually a McDonald's update. McDonald's HQ came out with an announcement this week that they're trying to lower the prices of their menus because they have seen a reduced amount of customer traffic and people are not going to McDonald's. They have like raised prices like 300% over the last 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
So they're trying to negotiate with the different franchises to bring the Whopper, not the Whopper, the Big Mac down. It's like $18 at this point. They're trying to get it back down to a meal. They're trying to get it down to like 12, kind of more reasonable because they're losing customers because McDonald's has got to it.
Well, part of the thing with McDonald's is that there's a perception that a value meal with a Whopper and it's $18. There are some places that does occur. Their goal is to get the Whopper in a value meal to have any of the value, not the Whopper, Big Mac, I was saying Whopper, Big Mac, and you polluted my mind. And they're trying to have the sum of the parts be 15% less than if you bought them individually. So part of this is a perception thing with McDonald's. But I think the Big Mac runs right around, if you bought it individually, about $5.39 across the country, except in some of the high market areas like California, where they have to pay $20 an hour wages.
Which is crazy.
Don't you think it's also because of the play places, though? Like, it used to be a destination spot. You'd take your kids there for not just dinner, but to hang out and play. And all of that is closed down. So they had to increase their price in food because it's no longer a play place, right? I mean, they're kind of screwed. Because what's the point of going to McDonald's now with your kids and your family if you can't play there? It's not the same.
Dolly, are you in a rural area?
No, not well. Kind of. I mean, I'm in Phoenix, but Mesa, so on the outside.
Interesting.
So yes.
We don't even have any of those down here in South Florida. The play areas. We don't have. They just.
Yeah, they don't really.
We used to. They closed them all down. They during COVID and everything, they've taken it all away.
Well, they just went through a major remodel program over the last 10 years, and part of the major remodel program was removing the indoor play areas to change the kitchens, give them more space back there, and add more seating. Not that they needed more seating, because more of their percentage of their business is carry out and delivery now.
You mentioned, it's Howard, is he the one that mentioned Circle K? Because I was in Florida and there was so I was in Florida and there was a Circle K there, and I bought a couple things, right? So I had like my arms full of something and a couple things, and I walked up and there was this mat where the cashier is on the table, and it has like a grid on it, and then each corner of the mat had like a pole sticking up with cameras facing down onto the mat, from all four corners, and she's like, put all that stuff on the mat, and they stuck it all on the mat, and it immediately rang it up. It doesn't look at the UPC.
Amazing, right?
It took a picture of the shit that was just on the mat and priced it.
And then you can put your gas on there too, so you don't have to talk to anybody. It rings it all up. Put your gas on your pump and bag
it's
it
not even doing
yourself.
UPCs. It's using AI to just say, "Oh, that's a bottle of Gatorade from the top." It just knows what it is. It's bizarre.
And there's still somebody at the cash register, though?
Yeah, but they just tell you how much it is.
Or make sure you don't walk out with stuff without paying.
Yeah, they take the money, but
Or if you need something behind the counter, like if you're getting cigarettes and stuff like that.
She told me to put it on there, and then she actually just took my money, or I did the card with her. But she knew what it was, how much it cost immediately. It just appeared on her screen.
Well, and they're trying to do the whole shopping experience like that too, where they see you take it off the shelf and they add it to your list of what you're buying, and you check out. You just walk out with all your stuff you took off the shelf, and it charges you accordingly.
Yeah,
like a hotel bar, where you, like when they remove stuff like a hotel bar.
It's done by video, though, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
Wild.
Is it RFID? Is that how they do it? I think they might do it by RFID.
They can do it that way. The Amazon stores were supposed to be cashierless.
Yeah, those were RFID, I think.
Yeah,
because you could take it out of the. It didn't mark it when you took it out of the shelf necessarily. It marked it when it was put in the car.
In the car, yeah. And I never went to one. I wanted to go to one, but there wasn't any near me.
I think those closed down. Seattle had some, but I don't think they have them anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it worked out.
We get back to what Holly said. She mentioned that when someone said, kids aren't drinking or smoking anymore, Holly said, that's kind of weird. I wonder what you meant by that, Holly. I didn't quite
Yeah,
follow
me
that.
too.
Sure. It's kind of hard to explain, but I guess I'll give it a shot. I don't like it as a trend because a few reasons. I think it's part of the pussification of this country. I think it is. I think we're becoming less fun as a culture. I think that it's a little bit cultish. This whole like overly health conscious. It's almost like a religion at this point, like a superiority thing. It's obnoxious to me. Yeah, I just don't. It's un-American. I don't believe in it.
It's funny you said that. I watched a movie, and literally, the guy was driving. It was one of the old movies, and he was driving. He had like a martini or something in his hand, and a cigarette in one hand, and a cigarette in the other hand. So we've come a long way as a culture as far as the alcohol and all that. But I guess I don't understand why you think it's a bad thing. It's different. We used to be able to smoke on airplanes. We can't do that anymore. There are lots of things we used to be able to do we can't do. That doesn't necessarily make them a bad thing, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's easy. Americans we're puritanical, and we're very black and white, good versus evil, right versus wrong. Instead of having a healthy relationship with alcohol, we've demonized it. Whereas, when you go to other countries like, South America, Western Europe, I mean, all of Europe, really, Australia, they don't have that same relationship with alcohol. It's not like this demonized, shameful thing. And Americans we just have this habit of like very judgmental. We put put things into good versus right versus wrong. That's not healthy. That's cancer. Like it's annoying. I find it very obnoxious. It's like just learn how to fucking drink. If you can't drink and you have a problem, fine, don't drink. But like this whole culture, like a movement of not drinking, I don't like that.
Yeah,
You're talking
there's also
kids?
the second thing I do think Holly, she's mentioned this in other rooms, so I don't want to steal her point. Like there has been an increase in the under 35 crowd, like increasingly isolating in general. So like there's this thing like alcohol is kind of considered like a social thing. Marijuana generally usage, you predominantly stay at home for most folks and kind of stick to yourself. So like if people are just switching from a social type of outlet to marijuana, I could see where her argument makes sense to me, where it's like humans are not designed to be constantly isolating and alone, and the fact that you see skyrocketing rates of kids under 35 reporting that they are constantly lonely, I think that's a problem. But I don't know if that was Holly's point or not, but I kind of stole that.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that. Real quick, just piggyback back on that. Yes, and when we were young, I don't know if y'all remember, but there is beauty and just it's such a beautiful part of life, the spontaneity of not knowing who you're going to meet when you go out. The random even still, when I travel, my favorite thing to do is to wander aimlessly, like by myself, and go into a pub and talk to random local people. Like that is my favorite activity. And so I feel like these young people, if they're on this bandwagon of like, just not like drinking, I don't know, they're missing out on some part of life that I find really beautiful.
I don't know what to think about that as I smoke my cigar and drink my Mad Elf Trogs 11% alcohol.
It disappoints me. I have twins who just started college, and neither one of them ever want to drink with me, and I always thought that would be fun, so I'm kind of bummed.
That's so funny you say that.
They literally don't. Like, I have these the margaritas in a can or whatever, and I was like, my daughter, I'm like, do you want one? She's like, no, Dad. I'm like, fuck. All right, I'll drink it myself. So the social aspect, I don't get it with my kids either. Meanwhile, when I was in high school, no shit, this is a little TMI, but my mom was like the party mom, and she would hold these parties where all the kids would come over to my house, and they'd all get drunk, and the rules were they had to stay overnight. They're not allowed to leave when they get drunk because it's not safe. And yeah, my mom like gave my best friend head in high school, and it was just a fucking wreck. So I guess I should count my blessings that I'm very normal.
Did I get that correct? Never mind. Let me know.
You did. My mom did that. Yep. To my best friend. It's a real thing.
Was she at least good? Did he give?
Thankfully, he didn't go into much detail. Thankfully.
You mean he told you? He actually
Oh yeah.
told?
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. In high school, yeah, we're idiots. Guys are idiots. They tell you. Yeah. Well. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. He told me later more. He didn't tell me in high school. He told me later.
Well, high school kids are dumb. Like I was on the football team, right? And this massive group chat where all the guys on the football team would share all the nudes that the women would send to them, and then we would just look at them. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, I don't have a relationship with my mom anymore. Like I don't let her have a relationship with my kids. I cut her off. There's a lot of shit going on.
Well, you're just lucky your friend's not dad to you now.
Jesus.
Could have been so much worse.
That would have been worse for sure.
Hey, Joe knows how to rub it in, doesn't he? Joe.
I'm many years removed from it. I've dealt with the trauma.
Oh, bless your heart. No wonder you paid your house off. I get it now.
Oh, dude, I'm the best dad ever. I learned everything not to do with my mom. She was a perfect bad example of everything. I totally made it all right.
My mom was not that bad, but I have a very beautiful mother who had me young, and so of course I was always, your mom, the MILF, and guys would come over and ask my mom to prom, all this silly stuff. But I had a lot of freedom when I was growing up, and my house was definitely the party house too. And my mom would kind of disappear. If she was there, she would disappear. But a lot of times I was just there by myself, so I would throw really fun party. I actually had a party once, and my baby brother, who was probably 2 at the time, he was in the crib still, I guess, so he was still pretty little. And he crawled. I was supposed to be babysitting, but of course I threw a party. And he crawled out at one point and walked out. It was just they were hauling your brother. Standing there staring at everybody.
I had some awkward moments because I wasn't super popular in high school, but I was a smart ass, so a lot of the athletes hated me because I talk shit, and the star football player, the quarterback of the fucking team, of my high school team. So my aunt was divorced and my mom was divorced a bunch of times, and so they decided to live together my senior year, and they got this house. They rented this house down by a lake where you could party on the lake all the time, and I think they did it on purpose my senior year. So they could get all the boys over. But anyway, the high school quarterback hated me. Fucking used to beat me up, throw me against lockers and shit. And then meanwhile, his older brother was banging my aunt, and so he'd come over to the parties. And I was like, oh fuck. So I had this guy that would beat me up at school, and then he was partying in my house and kissing my aunt. It was fucking bizarre, dude. It's a really fucking warped situation.
I'm gonna say something that probably everyone in this room was going to disagree with me, but I think you should try to have a relationship with your mom, because it's been my experience. Once they're gone, it's kind of tough, man. I mean, you really you really have. Well, at least I did,
I think the main thing is, see, I've been married a long time too. I've been married 27 years, and my mom treated my wife like shit too early on, and my wife told her fuck off basically. And so when I finally cut my mom out of my children's lives, it was when they were about 3 or 4. She was favoring one over the other. They're twins, but she was favoring one over the other a lot, ridiculously so. And I called her on it. She said she wasn't, and then she admitted she was, and she said, well, maybe your daughter's easier to love than your son. And that's when I cut her off. I was like, you're not going to love one of my kids more than the other one and make the other one feel bad. I'm not going to let that happen. So now I feel like they're 18. They don't know her. I could go back and get to know her a little bit, but it's a weird thing because my wife she won't know her. She has no interest in knowing her again. And I live across the country as well, so it's a little bit easier to be different, to separate like that. But the weird thing is, at this point, I don't have anything to talk to her about. Like, she sent me a letter last year, and she's like, "It's been long enough. Like, I think about you every day. You know, we need to touch base. We need to see each other. Can we meet somewhere? Blah blah blah." And I'm just like, I just know that she's such an asshole as a human being, and she's such a narcissist, and she's such a bad person that like she could never let me like get personal anyway. Like if I told her like, "Oh, I'm feeling like this or whatever," she'd be like, "Oh, you know, suck it up, don't be a pussy, whatever." Like, you know, she's just like that. And so it was always like, what am I going to talk about? Politics or the weather? Like there's nothing else to talk about with her. There's no depth there. And so going back to her, I'm like, I don't want to just talk about the weather and shit. And at this point, I'm over all the other shit, so I don't really want to bring that up either. So at this point, I feel like I don't have anything to talk about. It's weird. It's a weird feeling.
This sentiment comes around a lot of like, you know, whether you should extend like grace to your parents or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times like the way that I like to frame it is like, what would a parent have to do for a child to decide that the best choice for them is to eliminate this relationship? Like there's always a lack of ownership and a lack of accountability for like, I have a relationship with my parents, but like I have an aunt I don't talk to. And everyone always pressures me to engage with this aunt at family events, and I don't talk to her. First of all, because she's a condescending bitch, and second of all, she's very anti-gay. So my entire existence is a problem for this woman, and so why do I have to engage with her so I completely cut her out, right? But there's still like this social pressure to like re-engage and, you know, keep it in the family, and it's like this is a toxic human being, and I want nothing to do with them. I will be polite and cordial, but outside of that, you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think about it. Like when to be honest, right now, if she died, I don't think I'd be sad. That's horrible to say, but I think I'd feel a nice relief. Like, oh, okay, well, that's finished. I don't know. Like if I feel like that, then I don't know what I can go back to. You know what I mean?
It's okay to feel relief from a toxic relationship.
I think that's normal. That's like a very normal response. Like I'm free from it.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a sad situation though. But I did want to say with her favoring one child, I'm not saying that you did the wrong thing by protecting, you know, the other child's emotions. But I don't think it's very uncommon for grandparents to love a grandchild the most, and because some grandchildren, I'm not saying what you do is wrong, but I do think it's somewhat common for a grandparent to have a, you know, closer relationship.
Oh yeah, I'm interrupting. Did you hear him say it was a twin?
It was a twin. It's a twin, and my son.
Right.
The problem is my son is almost all my wife's DNA. My daughter is almost all my DNA. My mom had two boys, me and my brother, so she never had a daughter. So when my daughter was born, she immediately, like the narcissist in her, got immediately attached to, oh, that's one of me. That's a mini me, basically. And so she became obsessed with my daughter, and then she would totally like yell at my son and make him cry, and she would buy things for my daughter and not for my son in front of him. Just bullshit, really bad shit. And I think what she really fucked up is honestly when I called her on it and she admitted it, when she said, "I guess your daughter's easier to love than your son." What that made me feel like was like, it's not about you. You don't get to choose which one to love. You have to love them both, and they're not doing anything to make it easy or hard for you. Like it's not their job to make loving them easy for you. He doesn't make it hard for you either. He just isn't the person that you are attracted to. So I was like, so ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to hurt his feelings, and you're going to accuse me of being a bad dad every time he cries because somehow I'm spoiling him if I go buy him something because you didn't buy him anything but you bought his sister something. It's like, what the fuck? Like it's like she's like fucking with his mind, and she fucked with my mind when I was growing up. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17 in high school. I joined the Marine Corps to get the fuck away. I volunteered to go to Japan. They sent me away. I was gone. I never went back. Moved to Georgia. Like there's a reason that I escaped, on purpose.
How do you handle that when your son, when his sister gets stuff and how do you handle that?
Oh, it was so fucked up. I mean, we literally got off the airplane, went to go to lunch or whatever. My mom's like, "Hey, can I take her for a second?" Yeah, it takes her on this mall that we were in, and buys her a bunch of shit. She comes back with a bunch of shit. My son's sitting like, "What the fuck?" And then I didn't say anything at first. I'm like, well, maybe she'll take him. She didn't take him. So then the night comes. Now she's playing with her shit. He doesn't have anything. He's getting upset. I'm like, what the fuck? So I still didn't say anything. The next morning, or maybe that night or the next morning, one of the two, we took him to Toys R Us, and we got him, we let him pick out something. I came back, and my mom was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, it took, my son to get something at Toys R Us because you didn't give me anything. He got her something. And she's like, oh, you always spoil him. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? You don't even know him. You don't even know me.
What do you say to him? What do you say to him though about the situation?
I didn't explain away why she didn't. I literally just said, let's go get you something, buddy. Like, I just took care of it, but I didn't.
feel bad for her. Oh my God, that breaks my heart.
Oh, it was horrible. And like, he got over it or whatever, but at the same time, like, I remember one time, it's just simple things. Like, one time, my son knocked a lamp over, he was playing or something, and a lamp fell off the table or whatever. And my mom's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I said, he's fine, Mom. And she's like, I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about the lamp. It looks like he might have, I thought he maybe broke it. And I'm like, you were addressing the lamp with, are you okay? Like, what the fuck? Like, my mom would walk in and turn lights off in the room when we're in there because she's going to bed, so she's just not going to let us sit in the light. It's bizarre.
No, that sounds like my mom.
Like, what a bitch.
They're like the same mom in spirit.
So I will say, like I do think that, parents in the room are going to like this, but I think it's bullshit that you don't have a favorite child in general. Like, I'm gonna get a ton of pushback on this, but I had a favorite parent. Like, my mom was my favorite parent, and it was blatantly obvious to my dad. And he would even talk to my mom about why I didn't like hanging out with him. And he was as a kid, I was probably 7 or 8 years old. And so I think some of this is human nature. Not to the extent my was describing. That's an extreme.
You don't verbalize that shit though. We don't verbalize.
So you're saying you're like his mom?
A lot of us are subconsciously. A lot of us are subconsciously having favorite kids, favorite parents, and not realizing.
You guys, I'm almost fucked up. My mom brought a guy in the house. He's like a boyfriend or something. He was one of her random boyfriends. And I found this paperwork, and it was he had broken into a hotel room and like a sliding door and went in there, and he was jerking off at the end of some bed for some girl, and she caught him, and he was arrested, and he was found guilty, and he served some time, whatever. So my mom brought this guy into our house, and he was almost our stepdad. And later on, I saw it but never said anything. And later on, after the Marine Corps, I was hanging out with him. And I'm like, what the fuck was up with that guy, Lee? How the fuck could you bring him in the house? You knew he was a sexual predator. The paperwork was in the fucking bedroom. And she's like, oh, please. He liked girls, not boys. I wasn't worried about you guys. I was like,
she's like, everybody jerks off. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So it's that, I just had a lot of that in my life, right? Or she's like, I actually liked it because he was a peeping Tom, and when you'd go to your dad's house for the weekend, we'd dress it all in black, and we'd park at the end of a neighborhood, and we'd sneak out. And I don't know if you know this, but if you look where mini blinds are, there's a little hole where the cord goes through, where you can stick your face up against the window, and you can watch people having sex in there. And we used to do that for fun. And I'm like, why are you fucking admitting to this, you creepy bastard?
It's a wonder that you're mentally okay, because this sounds like just unbelievable.
I'm super mentally okay, but I had to get that way as fast as possible.
Yeah, that probably would saved you, getting out as soon as you could. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Marine Corps was beckoning me. I was like, oh please, anything, yes, please. Make it as hard. Punish me. Make it as hard as possible. I want it.
Mike, do you wear a shirt that says "I survived, Mom"?
No shit. Yeah. No, I'm super, dude. I've been married 27 years. My kids are amazing. They both had well above 4.0 grade point averages. I mean, everything's good. Like I said, she was a perfect bad example. I literally made every decision opposite her.
That's amazing. The funniest part is you're sitting there and she comes in and she's like, I'm going to bed, and she turns off the lights, and you're just like,
sitting in the fucking dark.
But we're not going to bed. What are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
And here's my mom's phrase. She's like, but it's my house.
Yeah.
And,
100%.
And I'm turning off the lights, and I'm like, yeah, but okay. You know what? This is. I'm just. I was like, this must be female autism. That was my conclusion. I was like, this is just what female autism is like, and I've not seen enough clinical examples.
Women are later diagnosed.
No, also, that's another thing.
That kind of cruelty, that's just mean.
Yeah, Mike, do you have a sibling?
I do. I have a younger brother, and he's pretty fucked up. He's responsible, right? He's a sheet metal worker. He's been in a union forever. He has, retirement built up, a good one, all that stuff. But he's never been married. He's had multiple girlfriends who've had abortions. Like he doesn't believe in marriage. He tells me it never works for anybody. I'm like, hello, I'm your fucking brother. It works for me, you know. And at this point, he won't talk to me anymore because I don't talk to my mom, and that really pissed him off. And so I kind of lost him in the process, which I didn't count on. That part kind of sucked because I didn't really count on it. That he would be so attached to her. He's just gaslit by her, and he never got away like I did. So
yeah, that sucks to lose your brother, but in my head I'm thinking she's gonna need or try to get one of you to take care of her, and it's gonna be more likely your brother than you. And I think that's a blessing.
But you know what's weird is she would love bomb me, right, when I was growing up all the time. Like it was almost like boyfriends. Like she would talk shit about her girlfriends back and forth to each other in order to like break up with us, but because she didn't, you know, she always had a problem with everybody we dated, whatever. And so but she would love bomb me, and then she would kind of, you know, shit on him. But then when I stopped talking to her, suddenly now I don't follow her on Facebook anymore, but for the longest time she would just like praise him constantly, like, oh, my wonderful son, and she wouldn't say anything about me anymore. But it was like all that love bombing transferred to him once I was no longer in the picture, which, you know, she just needs somebody to be feeding her narcissistic supply. And that's all there is to it. She's great all the time.
People like your mom, you know, they had something in their childhood that.
Yeah, that's trauma.
Oh, super fucked up. Oh, yeah. No,
it's not an excuse. I mean, you found a way to turn it into a positive. And also, it occurs to me while you're talking, I appreciate your sharing, is that really, your parents are kind of a lottery, what kind of parents you get, you know?
100%. And see,
family.
In my mom's
The family that you adopt later is better for you than. I had a good family and I was lucky, but I also made friends with people who became my family that I chose.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. It's a whole gamble. My mom's mom was a horrible human being. She was divorced 9 times. She's still alive. She's 102 or something. God, that's how God works. I don't know why he lets some of the fucking worst people live. But she used to bring my mom and her dog and her sister in. She used to let men come in and pay her to go climb in bed and molest my mom and her sister. So I knew this was true. So it's super fucked up. But what's more fucked up is that my mom used to have my grandma stay with us and watch us, even though all that shit happened. She maintained a relationship with my grandma, who I couldn't stand. I hated her. And she would have my grandma watch me when she was running around chasing guys around the country when I was younger.
The cycle continues.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, and that's why I broke it. That's why I said that's why I knew I didn't need my kids to know her, because I know how much I hated my grandma because my mom made me know her. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, they already aren't feeling it. I'm not going to make them do it. Like, I know what that feels like. That's what helped me.
The only value in that is you understand how your mom turned out the way she did.
And I forgive her for it.
Surprise.
Yeah, and I totally forgive her. Like, I don't hold a grudge. That's why I don't even want to talk about the old stuff anymore, right?
But at some point you have to respond.
I think at a certain point, though, you're like, you know, like, yeah, I get it. Your mom had, she might have had a horrible upbringing, but it is her choice how she moves about after a certain point. Like, there's a point where you have to take accountability for the shit that life does not give everyone an equal hand, right? However, it is at a certain point you have to take accountability for what the shit that you have and a way to fix it. And this whole, like, yes, generational trauma, all that bullshit stuff, like, I mean, not bullshit, that stuff is true. However, you not taking accountability and fixing it, that is a problem.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know how you can speak for your children, though. How can you say they won't need the interaction? I do get the problem with the differences, when you show differences like that. Although even parents, to be honest, they'll say they have a favorite child, so I mean, let's call that what it is. But you don't necessarily voice that. But how can you speak for your children? And like someone else said, your mom was a victim here. She definitely went through some stuff.
But as a parent, isn't your loyalty to your kids first over your parents? Like,
it was for me.
Your family comes first. Your parents your wife comes before your mother and your father, and your kids definitely come before your wife, right? So at a certain point, she's like number 15 on the list compared to
Yeah.
That was my decision.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I built a new. I felt like I built a new family. I could do it right. I know what not to do. This is my family. I don't need any more family.
You have to protect the peace, choose as it is, that causes stress. My mother-in-law is very toxic, and I made the decision to pull back and not be involved in any logistics moving forward. And as soon as I did that, I said calmly, I said to my husband, I'm not trying to be mean, but from here on out, I would like you to be in charge of any further communication and logistics with your mother. I can't do it anymore, okay? And that was the best thing I ever could have done, because I have a hard time with boundaries, I have a hard time saying no. But as soon as he had to take over, and I wasn't the wedge or the kind of, pass her off to me, I mean, it was a week before my husband, she's done. She's out.
Maybe you guys in this room might be able to help me with this one. I've been struggling with this. And this might be the one where I might be able to get some help, right? So I have a family member, and I'm going to say, who it is, but I have a family member who was molested by one of my uncles. He's a male family member who was molested by one of my uncles, and this particular uncle I absolutely loved and adored. He was just the coolest guy. And again, I don't know if the family member that I'm talking about is being honest with me, because he got busted on a solicitation charge, and it all sort of came out. I don't know if he's just being out. I'm thinking he's being honest with me. But how do you navigate that situation? I mean, how do I still maintain the relationship with this great uncle that I have, or should I maintain it? I haven't even approached the uncle with it.
So what do you guys? This is gonna sound super rough, but that man will be immediately gone from my life on any breed. I don't give a fuck how nice they are. Predators are known to be, basic. Okay, here's the number one thing, right? Like, sexual abuse is most likely to happen within families by other family members. You are more likely to be sexually abused by an uncle or an aunt than you are to be abused by a trans person or a random person or whatever guy you meet at a bar, right? Statistically, he is more likely to be telling the truth than not telling the truth. But the second thing I was going to say is this is a threat to the entire family, right? Like, predators know how to mask, they know how to pick their targets, they know whatever, but there's probably, there are specific traits that they look for, right? Studies have shown that, a strong father presence has deterred sexual predators in their interviews from targeting certain children, right? Just having a father that they view to be intimidating, right? I don't know what the specific details are, but I wouldn't, for my own safety and the safety of my kids, I would get rid of this person. I just cannot put that risk out there for me.
I got a question for you, bro. Was there any evidence, proof, or was there any strong suggestion? I'm just asking because you mentioned that the person who told you was caught up for solicitation.
Right. And I didn't even know the person was gay, to be honest with you. I thought I knew he was never married, and it was kind of how the hell do you go through life and not be married? I mean, at some point you would have married at least once, I would think. But I just sort of, and then you look at other things that happen in life, and then you realize, okay, it makes sense now, but I didn't put two and two together at the time. So when he got caught with this cop, I guess it was a cop in some bathroom or something, went to bail him out, and then we just sort of had this heart to heart, and he said he was molested as a child by this uncle that like I said, I love. So, but the thing is, I don't even know if he's being truthful with me. I tend to think he is. But how do you accuse someone of something so horrible, who has a family, a wife and children? I'm stuck.
That's why he doing acts like that. I mean, he's got a lot of people. Once somebody did that to them, they usually end up doing it to somebody else, or tend to be overly hypersexual, especially if it happened at a young age.
So
yeah, I don't think he's the one
making that hits close. And I was not sexually abused, right? That's not from my experience, but I actually have a lot of friends who were sexually abused, right? Because it is actually very, very common in the gay community to have like sexual abuse happen to you. I think it's like double the rate of straight men, right? The straight men average, I think percentage-wise, is about 20% of straight men have been sexually abused. In the gay community, it's about 40%. And what you're describing are typical symptoms of someone who is acting out, right? Behaving in certain sexually reckless ways. And where does that come from? You know, like I'm maybe I'm biased, but I'm leaning towards believing your family member just based on having friends who have been sexually abused and how they behave and how they have issues with relationships and how they're fucking half the town seeking validation, right? Like, these are people that I know in my own life, but of course I can't speak to whether or not he's being honest. Like, that's not my place. But that's just my.
That's where I'm stuck. But mother, let me ask you this, right? So, how is it that we all sort of grew up together, and nobody else, at least I was never even came close to happening.
He was the vulnerable one that could be groomed. You were strong.
So I do have a question. How involved were his parents? Like, was he like a weird?
See, someone mentioned that the father being out of the home, that's a problem, and that's absolutely true. But at the same time, I didn't have a father in my home as well. So I was raised by a single mother. This guy was raised by a single mother. So I mean, it happened. I think Mike sounds like he was raised by a single mother. I don't know if that's true or not. So I mean, I just don't know that that's necessarily the case. But I do think that problem, not the father not being in the home, is a problem, and certainly sets you up for that type of thing. But doesn't necessarily have to be the case. But I guess my whole thing is, and I'll just sort of land with this. My whole thing is, how do you? Okay, I'll put it this way. My approach has been, I have just assumed that this person is being truthful, and he was molested. I just assumed that, and I decided on my own not to have a relationship with my uncle, and I don't know if that's the right decision or not.
Yeah, I think that you're asking the wrong question. You should be asking the question, how do you get help for the person that was molested? They've got unresolved things going on in their life, especially if it was never reported.
Well,
if they've never gotten any kind of help.
No, that he's certainly gotten. At least he says he's gotten help. So he realizes that you can't obviously have that type of behavior. Those types of things don't follow you for the rest of your life. So
and it's not too late for him to report the guy either.
Is it a conversation that's been had, like, as a confrontation, so to speak? Like,
how do you confront someone without evidence?
That's why where my first question came from is, like, if you'd asked him questions of, like, specific time periods of when they were together, how things would have been. Play a little detective, but at the end of the day, you'll find out the truth for yourself if you did that. And I feel, as like Holly's saying in the comment, it's probably too late, but it's not too late to come to clarification.
How would
But at a vulnerable time after the solicitation, he had a heart-to-heart and started to talk about what happened to him. And I think you have to believe him, and I think that's one reason he was also acting out. I feel interested in this. I'm going to say this and then shut up. I had an uncle who was very good to me, and selling my first car was always went out of his way to help me. And I found out later in life that he had molested my father's youngest sister, who was his stepdaughter. And, it put a whole different light on, I couldn't change how he treated me and what he had done to my aunt, but it was, I had to put that in a place and then change my feelings. He was good to me, but he was also this person who was flawed and caused damage to my aunt.
Yeah, I feel like, Project, that if you wanted to know him as an adult, I don't think you're a bad person for having the feelings that you want to continue knowing him. Keeping in mind that it's highly likely that he's potentially that thing that you were told he was. The important thing, I think, is to make sure that he's not around anybody that he could hurt. So, like, no kids around him. If you ever saw that, I would do my best to try to eliminate that from occurring again or whatever. I would become a protector of others around him, and I would use my opportunities to know him to keep an eye and protect others from him at the same time. And then you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can potentially save other people, and you can also know him, and you don't feel guilty about that. But I do think you have to believe what you were told at the same time, and you have an obligation to protect anybody that might be at risk. That's what I would say.
A lot of work though, instead of just saying don't fuck with him anymore. Like,
well, you can do that too, for sure. I mean,
but he's kind of questioning.
That way, you don't have to do all this extra stuff, making sure he's not doing this. Like, no, you're a predator. You molest a little kid and or whoever. You rape somebody. I'm done with you.
But your piece, he's still questioning about if it actually happened.
Yeah, part of the problem is that in these situations, there is almost no concrete evidence one way or the other, right? Like that's the problem.
And the other thing is, this person, the victim, I'm just going to call him the victim is not as passionate about this as I am. I mean, I want to confront the guy and I want to, do all this stuff. And he's like, it happened, and just let it go. And so it's kind of like, well, I mean, where is your passion?
Right.
You're not passionate about it. Why should I be?
Project, the victim, is he kind of questionable in other behaviors? Like, has he done anything where you might not trust that he was being honest? Otherwise, because it's such a strong, charge on a human being. Like,
But this is the problem. Like, people who have experienced sexual traumas usually have higher rates of addiction. They normally have other extreme methods of acting out. They normally are hypersexual. They normally are doing drugs, right, to cope with the pain and all that shit. Like, all of the red flags that you would look for are signs of sexual trauma.
That is so
true. It's hard to separate whether they're just fucked up or if it's related to the issue.
No, that's true, Mother.
Don't just molest one person.
It's a good point. If there's other people that speak up.
Yeah, I was just reading too, Project.
There are other people that this guy is also touched.
Right.
Right. But this is the thing too, and I don't know if it matters as an adult. I was listening to some counterintelligence behavior. They said that a large, 90% of children or people that have been molested have a hard time answering direct questions and being direct. So I get what Mother is saying. Like, they're gonna have other issues, so it may not be fair to just go off of it if he's had some other questionable behavior. So it's just gonna kind of fall on the guy who's being charged. Whew.
This is a difficult question because I wish I had a clear-cut answer, but I honestly don't,
I actually might. Say you guys talked about it, okay, and if he actually admitted to it, would you still love him after the fact?
Oh, good.
The uncle or the victim?
The uncle.
You're the uncle, yeah.
No, I'm done. I'm done now. But I would absolutely be done then.
I also one thing I would do.
Yeah, what's up, Jesus? This is time for
If it hasn't been flushed out to the other family members, I would flush it out because sometimes people pick up on behaviors that are odd that don't really fall into context until they think about it. I don't know. That's what I would do, just for their awareness, right? Like my other brothers and sisters, but then that kind of essentially shuts them out of the family informally, right? So either way, it's not an easy.
Well, some states, the statute of limitations on child sex abuse do not run out. That's the case in Maryland, where I live. So there is no limit. It doesn't matter how long ago it happened. And reporting is something that should be on the table.
But that also opens a can of worms for the person who was molested and has to relive it.
Other than the shame that they're suffering now, I don't know which is worse.
You'd have to kind of have their approval in advance, because that's the only proof you'd even have. I mean, otherwise you'd never go and get anywhere with it anyway. You'd have to have their.
They should participate in it, especially if they're
exactly. They'd have to participate, which means they'd have to be okay with it.
Well, now that if they are now an adult, if they're still a child, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I assume. I thought it was an adult, but
Yeah, and it's really hard to criminally prosecute those cases. Oddly enough, there's a weird kind of change that, hey, I'm going to sue you in civil court. And women are getting, and victims in general, are getting better results in the civil courts because you're saying, hey, I'm going to threaten to bring this case to criminal court unless you settle in civil court. And for whatever reason, the courts are okay with that. You know, take that for what you will, but
well, I know that civil cases have a lower threshold of proof.
yeah, exactly. But it's also like, hey, is it reasonable to have that standard of proof for something that's so difficult to prove fundamentally, right? It's like it's you and me, my word versus yours, right? That's how often the cases are set up. So we've seen that recently with like some of the like trauma victims have trauma victim memory. So like when you get challenged in court and the lawyer says, well, did you do this? You can actually go into a fight or flight moment and say something stupid and work against your case, even though that wasn't accurate or you didn't mean to say that or whatever. So there's a lot that we can do, at least in the legal justice system, to fix those kind of issues for the.
Yeah, I think
This conversation's got me thinking, how would I even handle this? And I don't have a correct answer. And I have several, like I have 6 friends who have been sexually abused and they're men. And I know 3 women that have been sexually abused with it by family members and they're women, right? So like this happens so frequently that nobody ever talks about it. So I just want to give you guys a shout out for just having the conversation.
This guy, you know, the uncle that I'm talking about, this guy is a pussy lover, right? I mean, he had some of the most.
Hello? Hello?
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
It is so hard. It's so hard to fathom. It's what I'm saying. It's so
no
hard to fathom.
bearing on anything.
No, it's totally
Sorry,
irrelevant.
my friend.
Fair enough.
Totally irrelevant. I mean, predators are
The
predators.
straightest
I mean,
people
predators
you'll
of all
ever
types.
meet are on the spectrum. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're faced with a he said, and that's a terrible position to be in. The person who confessed to you that he was assaulted by your beloved uncle, do you believe him or no?
I think, yeah. But at the